Hello and welcome to SourceCAD. In this video, I'll be demonstrating how to create this aluminum bracket with Fusion 360. Now this type of bracket can be easily manufactured using die casting, and Fusion 360 is a great tool for making components like this one. Now before I begin, I have an announcement for you. Autodesk is having the largest sale of this year 2022, offering up to 30% discount on Fusion 360 subscriptions. Not only that, they are also offering discount on other Autodesk products like AutoCAD, AutoCAD LT, Revit LT Suite, 3ds Max, and Maya. The discount is closing on December 1st, so subscribe before the offer expires. Check the links in the description of this video and the first pinned comment to get the discounts. Now, let's get started with the video. So now we'll start with the base part, and for that I'm going to select this sketch tool and I'll select this plane right here. Let's make a rectangle, and I'll make a rectangle, actually a square of 60 by 60 size, in such a way that this remains exactly at the center. Well, for that I'll type D for dimension, or you can click here to start the dimension tool and add the distance here 60, and this distance is 60. And then you can select this one as 30 and this distance as 30. Now in this case I'm using mm as the unit, but if your unit is not set, you can go to your preferences right here, and from here in the default units, go to design and set your unit to whatever you want. Alright, so I've already set it to mm, so I don't need to do anything else for now, and with that I'll select finish sketch. Now I'll select extrude this feature up to a distance of 20 mm, and I'll also add a taper angle of 10 degrees, and this should taper outside, which it is already doing it, so that's it. With that, click OK. Now the next feature which I need to add is fillet, so I'll go to fillet and I'll add all the 4 fillets on these edges. Now the radius is 5 mm, so 5, tab key, click OK, done. Let's add one more fillet. So I'll go to fillet, and this is the edge, and the radius is 2 mm this time, and click OK. Now the next one is another feature on this plane. So go to this plane, create a sketch, and make the same type of rectangle once again. So I'll just select it and I'll make it like this. All right, now I'll select D for distance, and I'll add a distance from this point to this point, and that should be 10 unit. The same distance from this to this, I'll make it 10 unit. Now I'll just add the second distance from here to here, and that should be 14, and this entire I'll make it 28, and this will remain centered with all these values. All right, finish the sketch, and now extrude this again. So I'll select this feature and I'll extrude it again to a distance of 2 unit. So distance is 2, and press the tab key. Now the taper angle is once again 10 degrees, but this time it should taper inside, so -10, and there we are. Now join feature is selected, and with that click OK, and we have this added. Now with these 2 features added, we are ready to create a shell feature here. Actually we want to add thickness of 2 mm on these walls, and for that I'll use the shell tool, but before I do that, I'll add some fillets. So I'll go to fillet and I'll add fillet on all these 4 edges. And the fillet is 2 mm. So for that, I'll type 2, enter, and then click OK. Now the remaining fillets can be added later, but for now, that's just sufficient, and we can now add the shell feature. So I'll go to modify, shell, and I'll select this face only, and the distance is 2. So the 2 mm wall thickness, and here is the shell feature. Click OK and done. So now it's added. We'll add another one right here. So we need to make a round cut. So I'll go to sketch, I'll select this plane. That's not selecting it, so press and hold your left click, and now it's going to show all the hidden features, including the YZ plane that we need to select. Now select the circle, make it right here, and the diameter is 30. So let's just make it 30 and finish a sketch and extrude. Now this should be extruded on both the sides, though I'll just extrude it here. You'll notice that it is making a cut. Let's just extrude it on other side using this symmetric feature. So in the direction I've selected symmetric, now it's making the cut on both the sides. You can select any distance that just goes beyond this last plane. I'll leave it at 54. And with that, I'll click OK. And we are done. Now we need to add the feature here at the top. For that, I'll go to Sketch and I'll select this plane. So press and hold left click, YZ plane, done. Go to Sketch and start making it. So from this point, right about here, I'll add a line, I'll add one here, and I'll simply join it with this. Now I'll make a circle as well right here, and I'll make it small enough like this, and I'll also delete this line. Tangent, let's make this line and circle tangent. Let's make this line and this circle tangent. Now I'll extend it further so that we can trim it properly, and select trim, trim this, this, and this. I'll go to circle, add another one right about here. Okay, so the outline is done. We just need to add the proper dimensions. For that, I'll type D, and this distance from this center to this one, that's the first distance I'm going to add, and that should be 42. Then we have the first angle from this to this, which is 30. And then we have angle from this to this, that's 120. All right, so we've got all the angles set. Now we just need to add this circle radius. So I'll type D, and that should be 8 unit. And we are done. So with that, this feature is completely constrained. As you can see, it has this black color, which indicates it's fully constrained. And now we are ready to extrude this. So go to Finish Sketch, and now extrude, and extrude this feature. Now we need to extrude it on both sides. So once again, go to Direction, select Symmetric, and the distance is 10 unit on both the sides. So this should be 10. And also, as it is making a cut, we don't want that. So select Join and click OK, and we are done. So that feature is now added. Now we need to add some details on this feature. So I'll select this plane now, go to Create Sketch, and I'll just create some sketches. Though we can make offset of these lines because we just want to create sketches along these lines. But in this case, I think it is easier if I just select the lines instead of just offsets. So I'll just select lines like so. Now I'll select parallel and I'll add it for these two. Well, now it is added. I'll go to Create an arc, and I'll select 3-point arc, and I'll select first point, second point, and third point right about here. Okay, we also need to ensure that this and this remains tangent. So select, make it tangent, select this and this, make it tangent. All right, so that is also done. Not only that, we also need to ensure that the distance between this and this should remain equal to this gap. So for that, I'll add some distances. But before we do that, let us properly move this sketch right about here. Actually, we'll just make it like this, and I'll add another line along this. So here I'll just make a line which is long enough for this, and I'll just merge it right about here. Okay, and I'll merge it right about here on this line randomly. Okay, so that is now done. Now I'll select this center, and well, maybe you can select this center as well, and we'll make it coincident so that they're exactly at the same center. And with that, it looks like it is fully constrained, and that's probably because of this midpoint. I'll remove this midpoint. There we are, so that we can just, well, add this thickness. And now it's time to add that thickness value. So I'll type D, select this, and this should be 1.6. And we are done. Now that's properly done. Okay, so it's time to trim things. So I'll go to Trim, and the first thing I'm going to trim here is, well, this line, this one, this one. Now we want to keep this line outside. So I'll select this and trim it. So what we have is, well, this set of line and this one going out and this one also going out. All right, so as we just need to remove this feature, well, we don't need to make it closed. We actually have the boundary that we can use. Actually, if you want, you can just trim it up to this point, but I'll leave it like that. And with that, I'll finish this sketch. Now I'll go to Extrude, and here if I hover my cursor here, it will automatically highlight that portion. There we are. And I'll now move it inside, and the distance of 5 unit is what we need. And with that, I'll select Operation Cut. Okay, done. Now we need to make a mirror image of this. So for that, I'll select the feature from here, go to Create, Mirror, and now the plane that we need to select is, well, mirroring plane, and that's this one right here. Done. So click OK, and we have the same feature here. So it's going to make the cut on the other side as well. Now the next feature. For that, I'll select this plane once again and sketch. Once again, I'll start with line, and I'll just start making lines along this plane right about here. And then I'll join it with this. Actually, this should be a straight line, but that's okay. We'll take care of it later. And we have another one here. And maybe we'll just move it like that. I'll go to circle. Using this same center, I'll make a circle that is equal to, this one. And then I'll make another line that joins this with this bottom plane right about here. All right, and this should join this one as well. Okay, let's go to trim and trim this part of the circle and this and this. All right, let's select this line. Let's make it horizontal, and now we can make all the other lines parallel. So I'll select this one and this. Let's just make it parallel. Select this and this. They should be parallel. All right. Now here also we just need to add one more line. So I'll go to line and I'll add another one, randomly, like so. I'll just make it somewhere here. All right, now these two lines should also be parallel. So I'll just go to parallel. I'll make sure that this and this remains parallel too. Okay, now it's time to trim whatever is inside these two lines. That's about here. And it looks like we just removed that part. That should not happen. So I'll go to arc and make a new one. So center point arc, here is the center, and then this and this, and done. So we've got this arc added. So let's now add some dimensions here. So I'll go to dimension, and the very first is this. So this one, I'll leave that with whatever the default dimension is, because it is following that curvature and I want to keep it that way. I'll leave it here for this one as well. Now this gap here. So I'll just select this, and the gap here should be 1.6. This should be 1.6. And finally, this gap should be 1.6 as well. Now we need a little bit of, rounded corner here. For that, I'll use fillet. So I'll go to fillet, and the first fillet is this. Now this one should be 1.2. There it is. So that's added. In a similar way, I'll add more fillets. So I'll add a fillet right about here, and that's just 1 unit. Another fillet of 1 unit will go right about here, and enter. Now we also need to connect it with this. So I'll go to line tool, and I'll simply select this point, move it down and connect it here, so that it just forms a completely closed loop, this one, and so should be the case for this one. Now with that done, I'll add fillet at one more location, and that's right about here, and another fillet right about here. Now it looks like it's not touching it here, so we just need to fix that first. So I'll just touch it like this. All right, and now we can add the fillets. So let's go to fillet and add one here, another one here, and the radius is 1.2, and we are done. Now the final thing that we need to add is the angle for this. So there is no set angle. So I'll type D, and I'll add an angle here like so. And this angle is 45 degrees. Okay, so with that, our sketch is now finished, and now we are ready to, extrude this feature. So let's finish this sketch, and I'll go to extrude. I'll select this region and this region, and it should be extruded inside like so, because we are just going to make a cut. Now this distance is -8. Because it's going to make a feature inside. Click OK. And now we are going to make another mirrored copy of this feature. So select this feature, go to create and mirror. Let's go to mirror plane, select this and OK, and we are done. So the same mirrored copy is now here as well. So this part is almost done. Now finally, we just need to make an extrusion here as well. For that, I'll select this plane, and let's go to circle, and using the same center, I'll make another circle like so here. And then we'll select the same point, and maybe we can just make another one here, or you can use this feature as well, because that's just sufficient for making that circle. So I'll just simply extrude this feature. So extrude, select this one, and as you can see, it will highlight that region, and we can extrude it outside like so. Let's add a distance of 5 units like that and click OK. Now I'll select the same feature, the extruded feature, and I'll extrude it on other side as well using mirror. So I'll go to create, mirror. After selecting that last feature, in the mirroring plane, I'll just select this plane and click OK, and done. It's extruded on other side as well. Okay, so that feature is also added. Now finally, we just need to make few holes here. And for that, I'll select this plane here and sketch. I'll go to slot and center to center slot. Now the first slot that I'm going to be making is right about here. And then we'll use this slot and make some copies using that one as the reference. Maybe I'll just delete this line that we accidentally created, and let's add the dimensions for this. So this line length is 10. And we have a distance of 8 unit here. And we also need to add distance from center line, which is not available right now. So let's add the center line from here to here. Select this line and select center line. All right, that's added. Now we'll use it as a reference. Actually, I finished this sketch, so I'll select this sketch and edit sketch. I'll go back to it and let's keep modifying this sketch. So I'll select this and this one, and it's adding the total distance. That's totally fine. We can add that too. So that should be 46. All right. And again, add the distance, and this distance should be 5.2. All right. So there we are. We've got this slot. Now we'll make copy of this slot. And to do that, simply select it. Go to mirror, select mirroring line, and select this one as the mirroring line, and you'll have the slot on the other side as well. Now we need the same slot in horizontal direction, actually vertical in this case. So I'll just go to create, slot, center to center slot, and I'll add it right about here. Now all we need to do is add some dimensions. So I'll just add the required dimensions for this slot. So that's 10 unit. I'll add this distance 4.2 from center line to this point. It should be 5. Actually, it's again taking the full length, so that's totally fine. I'll just make it 10, and then the thickness, and that should be 5.2. All right, so we've got this slot as well. Finish this sketch, and here we are. Now let's make extruded cut. So I'll just select this and this feature, and I'll also select, well, this feature. As it's not allowing me to do that, I'll simply press and hold my left click, and now it will highlight all the features. So we need this profile. Press and hold your left click, select the profile again, and it's selecting everything. Now we need to select both the sides. So first, let's just add it here. That's making the extruded feature. Now in the direction, I'll select two sides so that we have the second arrow, and now I'll move it back, actually down. Now for both the sides, we can add the references. So for this side, I'll add two object and select this. And for the other side, again, two object, and I'll select this plane. And we are done. Click OK. We have the cut feature. Now, once again, a mirror image is required. So select the cut feature, go to create, mirror, mirroring plane, and that's this one. And it will create the feature on other side, which is like that, and we are done. Now all we need is a little bit of fillet on all the sharp edges. So to add the fillets, I'll go to the fillet tool right here and then select all of these sharp edges. And I'll add the radius of 0.3 unit just for this. Now in a similar way, I'll repeat the process with the different radii for all these different features. And this is 0.2 for the slotted holes, and finally for other details. And this one is 0.5. And here we are. So with all the fillets added, this is how the part is going to look like. Now, if you want to add physical material, you can do that as well. For that, simply go to bodies, and here right click on the body and select physical material. Now, as this is a part made with die casting and aluminum is used, I'll use, well, aluminum from the list. So we have this entire list from where you can select metal, And what we need is aluminum. Now there are several alloys of aluminum that you can use, but I just want to select a generic one. So I'll select this one, drag it and drop it here. Now that will not only give it a physical appearance, but also the physical properties like mass and density. So that's how you can make this component in Fusion 360. If you don't have Fusion 360, then now is the time to subscribe it till December 1st to get the discount of up to 30%. Click the links in the description of this video and first pinned comment to get the discounts. So with that, take care and I'll see you soon with another video.